Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Leo and Aquarius on Fridays. So the deck that I'm using today is called the Spirit Within Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, my information is in the description below. Also, just as a heads up, sometimes the cards like to flip over in the deck. I do see them. However, I usually only take cards that jump out of the deck like these ones have. And usually if they jump out in groups that are too big, I'll go ahead and put them back. But my goal here was to get you guys 8 cards. And now that we have 8 cards, we can get started. But I do just want to take a quick second to remind you guys that in case you enjoy the reading or if it really resonates with you guys, I would love to see a like or a comment because that's the best way of letting me know. So I do want to mention here that your overall energy here is the 9 of Wands. So I'm actually getting a very interesting energy from this 9 of Wands, because the 9 of Wands to me is my wounded warrior card, right? So this is somebody who has been wounded from the fight but continues to fight on while healing. And it's very interesting to me because normally I would interpret this card as a self-healing energy, right? So it's like you, the Quorant, is the person who is healing, but it's almost like the other people around you are the ones that are healing. Don't get me wrong, you may very well also be doing the same kind of thing, mirroring them, but I know for the fact that there's people around you that are going through this healing process. And I think that for a lot of you guys, you might be playing the role of a healer. Because I see this, the Sun card and the 10 of Wands here. So that to me would give me the impression that you guys have been going through a lot of healing and now you're at a better place, right? Because like I said, this is the card of healing. And then you have the Sun card, which is the happiest major arcana in the tarot deck, right? And it's the happiest card in the tarot deck, period. So I'm thinking that for a lot of you guys, you're really in a good place right now. Things feel like they're looking up. Things are getting better. And, you know, I don't think that you guys have been in a very pessimistic mood for very long or very often. Right? And for some of you, it may have been where in the past you were very pessimistic about a certain situation or perhaps trying to get a particular outcome and it just wouldn't come out that way. But now I feel like you guys have had sort of like a change, and that change has brought on this much more positive, happy attitude, which I think is a really good sign. And then you also have the 10 of Wands, right? The 10 of Wands in reverse is actually a really good card to get, because the 10 of Wands in the upright represents shouldering burdens. And you can see just from like the artwork here that this person has to shoulder these burdens all by himself. So when it's in the reverse, you're not doing that all by yourself. You're either delegating work out to other people, or you're just dealing with less work in general. So no matter how you look at it, this card here is saying that your load is being lightened. And I feel like that's like it's well overdue, because you guys have been just in this mode where you've had so much on your plate for so long that this is a very welcome surprise here. And then you have the Fool and the Tower card. So the Tower card gets a lot of bad reputation because it can be very painful sometimes, but know that when the Tower card appears, it's because it's coming from a place of love, right? Usually when the Tower card appears, it's because we've built a tower on a faulty foundation and we need that tower to come down so that we're able to rebuild that tower on a much more stable foundation. I really like this particular artwork of the tower because other depictions will have like lightning or some other force majeure that breaks down the tower. But it looks like this tower is falling just on its own volition. So I think that's really symbolic of the fact that you guys have been sort of in a mode where you've been keeping these things that have been unsustainable right? I know just from the Aquarians in my life that you guys are very humanitarian and you have the habit of helping others before you help yourself. And, that's very noble and it's very admirable, but it can be very difficult to maintain that, especially if you're, helping other people and giving so much away that you don't have anything left for yourself. How can you be in a position where you can help when you can't even, sustain yourself, right? So I think that here, a lot of you guys are learning to really strike up a balance and strike up a healthy balance more than anything with all the habits that you have, that being possibly one of them, depending on who you are and what your story is, right? And, obviously you're making these big, huge sort of spring changes here. And then I see the Fool card, which tells us that there's going to be huge new beginnings, right? This is a new chapter. And that to me means that you guys are really tying up a lot of loose ends. I feel like you guys have had a lot of reoccurring errands that have been going on. I call them errands, but they're more like projects or things that you have to get done. Issues, situations, problems. Some people might use that word to describe them. But either way, this is the beginning of a new period where your life is far more stable and far more happy, right? Going back to that Sun card. And actually, looking here, this is the Temperance card. I honestly hadn't even processed this in my head when I said that you guys were striking up a healthy balance here with the Tower card. But that's what the Temperance card is. The Temperance card is balance, proportions, and moderations. So I'm thinking for a lot of you guys, you're really learning to strike up that healthy moderation with all the things in your life, right? Like going back to that example, I'm not saying that you can't help people. I'm just saying that you should help people within the realistic sort of confounds of your life. I guess there's better ways of wording that, but I feel like you guys understand what I mean. And that's obviously going to be very different for a lot of you guys, whatever it is that you're having to be healing with. But I think that for a lot of you guys, this work has been done, but now you're sort of helping the people around you again. And again, if you're the kind of person, or if you're in the group of people who haven't already finished this healing entirely and you're still in this Nine of Wands, you have to strike up that balance, which is the Temperance card, the balance between helping yourself and also helping other people at the same time, right? And I feel like through all of this, you're going to end up at this Ten of Pentacles. I feel like whatever this healing is going to severely help out your family life, right? Because I'm actually getting that for a lot of you guys, I'm hearing depression. So a lot of you guys may have had depression or maybe had somebody in your life that's depressed, or maybe multiple depressed people. And that oftentimes will have a ripple effect, and you're sort of learning to, handle things in the best way possible. Because when we're talking about things like that and, things that affect other people, it can be very difficult and very complicated. And there is no one size fits all answer. So that's why this Temperance card is here. It's telling you that you're able to strike up that conversation. And once you, strike up the conversation, strike up the balance as well. I kind of let that word conversation flow out of me. So I'm thinking for a lot of you guys, you've been maybe avoiding a conversation or deliberating on how to best approach a conversation. For some people, I'm hearing pregnancy. Maybe that's a talk that you're trying to bring up to a spouse or a significant other. And that gets reinforced by the fact that you have the Ten of Pentacles here, which is the happy home card. And I do want to also reinforce that happy part of the happy home because you have the Sun card, which is the happiest card of the deck, right? So like, regardless of what it is that's on your mind, do know that there is a silver lining and that there's going to be a lot of positivity that goes along with it, right? And lastly, we have the Seven of Wands and the Star card. So the Star card has twofold meanings. For one, it is the card that is associated with the sign of Aquarius. We have Aquarius in the form of the star, and then we have Sagittarius in the form of the Temperance. But I think that it's really good that you guys have the Star card in your own reading, because that to me feels like you guys are very much within your own energy, right? The Star card is all about humanitarianism. And the story of the Star goes that this woman is actually an angel that's taking water and pouring it on the plants and fauna around her and also into a pond so that hungry travelers, that stumble upon that sort of oasis have something to eat and something to drink so they don't starve or die of dehydration or whatever, right? It's a very humanitarian act. And then second fold is a wish, right? And that's what this feels mostly to me, is that this person is looking up at that star and making a wish. And then that gets even more reinforced because you have the Seven of Wands, which talks about, I like to call it the worth fighting for card, right? It's the fact that you've maybe even be outnumbered because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he has the 7th wand and he's still fighting them off. So maybe I think that for a lot of you guys, it might feel like it's you versus the world, even though you have that humanitarianism within you. And for a lot of you guys, it might... I'm sorry, Aquarius, the video cut off. But like I was saying, for a lot of you guys, I feel like this antagonizing of you, because I feel like you're the one that's being antagonized, might actually have to do with your family or community, right? So it might feel like people within your... Because this family card feels very central. So I feel that somebody is kind of acting to antagonize you, and that could be in your work life or maybe even home life or just your community as a whole, whatever you consider yourself a group of. And I do just want to say really quickly that either way, you guys are going to come out on top with the Sun card, and you guys are going to win, for lack of a better word, right? I don't see you guys, like, I don't see any negative cards, right? These are all major arcana, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, major arcana, and only one of them can be difficult. But if you work with the Tower card, it can be so much more meaningful and so much more helpful to you. The only like negative card that I see is the 10 of Wands, which is in reverse, telling you that you're going to come out with a much heavier load than you had before. So this energy is incredibly powerful and incredibly good for you guys, especially if you're in the middle of healing right now. So Aquarius, that was your reading first time around. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new videos for Aquarius on Friday. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.